Okay, so this picture is actually horrible right now, but I thought I'd start it this way so you can see Marley, my big fat cat in the background. I'm going to close the curtain, which you won't be pleased about. There he is. You can see him better, but that's why he's sitting up there because the curtain was open. I just want to say a few things about our previous unit before getting our module ready for the next one. About the unit that we just finished up on Nicaragua and Honduras. Because I guess I should have made this disclaimer video before. I generally do it in my Latin American history classes and culture classes. I don't know why I didn't think to do it here. I guess I thought that my PowerPoints and the readings for the last unit were pretty clear on this, but apparently they weren't. So, just a word on U.S. foreign policy and U.S. actions in Central America, particularly from really, I would say the 1950s through 1990, a little earlier for Nicaragua. We didn't have very good foreign policy for Central America. Some of you picked up on that. Others of you really worked to try and justify in any way you could the actions that the U.S. was taking against the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, which is a little problematic. Our foreign policy dealing with Central America was basically do anything that we could to stop any leftist movement, whether that be a rebellion or in the case of the Sandinistas, whether that be a government. We're going to see even more of that with Guatemala in 1954, where we worked to oust a democratically elected government because it was leftist. And I say these things just not because I'm not patriotic, not because I'm not proud to be an American. Of course I am. I love our country. I love the freedoms it offers. But unfortunately, there have been times in our history when those freedoms have come at a price to other people, and it's been a pretty tragic price. The situation in Nicaragua, the Sandinistas actually had a great deal of public support. The majority of people in Nicaragua supported them. The people who lost land were the people who had been involved in the Somoza regime. So they had been involved with the dictator. And they lost land because they left the country, mostly when the Sandinistas came to power. And then the Sandinistas made cooperatives out of those or distributed land. So what you saw in the film, those people who were arming themselves against the Contras, were people who were arming themselves to protect what they had earned from the Sandinistas. They were protecting their cooperatives. They were protecting their schools. They were protecting their healthcare centers, things that they had never had before the Sandinistas were in power. The Contras, you know, the scene towards the end where the U.S. officer is told he has to leave his dog tags behind, he's not supposed to bring them with him when he goes into Nicaragua from the training base in Honduras, that's because it was illegal for him to be there. Not just international law. International law stated that what the United States was doing with Nicaragua was illegal under the terms of the Geneva Convention, which deals with anti-intervention, it deals with terrorism. But also our Congress made these actions illegal for our government and our military to be taking. The Congress ruled that the United States government could not be spending money for training and weapons and other support of the Contras just to destabilize a government with which we were not at war. We were never at war with the Sandinistas. So it was problematic. It was made illegal by our government, by our Congress, and the Reagan administration actually got involved in illegal arms sales through Saudi Arabia to Iran. So we were selling weapons to Iran in order to make money that we could fund and have arms for the Contras. We supported they're called the Contras, the counter-revolutionaries, so against the Sandinista revolution. They never were going to be able to overthrow the Sandinista government, and our government was aware of that. But the plan was to make the Sandinistas unpopular by targeting their programs that had helped the people. So the Contras focused, as you saw in the film, on attacking agricultural cooperatives, on attacking schools, on attacking health clinics. As a part of this program, U.S. Marines in Contra uniforms, not in their Marine uniforms, they weren't allowed to wear their own uniforms for our military, did things like mined the Nicaraguan harbor, which is an act of terrorism. And in fact, the United States government was tried in absentia. They didn't show up for the trial. They were accused and tried and found guilty by the International Court of Justice of inciting international terrorism in Nicaragua. So this was a really problematic time in the history of our dealings with Central America. Now, I want to make you understand this because when we are in Costa Rica, we are going to be spending time going up to the Nicaraguan border. The people of Nicaragua, the people of Costa Rica, love U.S. tourists. They're very happy to have us there. They love the interactions. They are really good at making distinctions between a people and a government. Of course, places like Nicaragua have to be. Think of the way their governments have been over the course of the history we looked at. So they know that the people are not equal to their government. But at the same time, we have to have an understanding of the way they feel towards our government, right? And issues they have had over time. So I just want you to keep this in mind, because we're going to actually see in this coming unit where we're looking at El Salvador and Guatemala, even more problematic issues where we supported some pretty brutal dictatorships, giving millions, and in the case of El Salvador, billions of dollars to support dictatorships just because they were anti-communist. And not only with money, but also with training and military supplies. And it was also revealed even after these situations came to a close that we were also funding and training death squads, or our military was. So I want you to just keep an open mind about this, that our foreign policy, things that we have done in the name of our national security, trying to keep communists or communism out of the hemisphere, has sometimes been extremely detrimental to other countries. That is just a fact of life. So just keep your mind and your eyes open about this so that you can have a better understanding of the way that we worked in the world in that time period, and why there's maybe some just resentment towards the United States government in Central America. Not so much in Costa Rica. Costa Rica's had great relations, but you have to understand why other parts of Central America have had these type of feelings. So anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful spring break. You can see Marley is not happy about the curtain being closed. He's about ready to jump down from his perch. So I'm going to end this now and go reopen the curtains. Have a great day.